Picture this. Two men standing over Caesar's bloodied corpse in the Senate House, swearing an oath of brotherhood that would reshape the ancient world. Within 13 years, one would hunt the other to the ends of the earth, culminating in a naval battle so catastrophic it would echo through history. This is the story of Marc Antony and Octavian, a tale of friendship, betrayal, and the insatiable hunger for absolute power that would determine the fate of Rome itself. The unlikely alliance when Gaius Julius Caesar fell to 23 stab wounds on the Ides of March 44 BCE, Rome teetered on the edge of chaos. His assassination left a power vacuum that threatened to tear the Republic apart. Entered two men who couldn't have been more different. Marcus Antonius, Caesar's loyal lieutenant, a battle-scarred warrior who commanded respect through strength and charisma. Gaius Octavius, Caesar's 18-year-old grandnephew, a sickly youth whom few took seriously. What bound them together was more than blood or politics, it was survival. The assassins had struck expecting Rome to thank them for ridding the Republic of a dictator. Instead, they found themselves facing Caesar's heir. Octavian had been posthumously adopted and his most trusted general, united in their thirst for vengeance. The early months of their alliance read like a masterclass in political maneuvering. Antony, with his military experience and network of veterans, provided the muscle. Octavian, despite his youth, demonstrated a shrewd understanding of propaganda and legal maneuvering that would make Machiavelli proud. Together, they formed the Second Triumvirate, with Marcus Lepidus, effectively becoming Rome's triumphant rulers. Their partnership reached its bloody crescendo at the Battle of Philippi in 42 BCE, where they crushed the Republican forces led by Caesar's assassins, Brutus and Cassius. Standing victorious on that Macedonian battlefield, surveying the corpses of their enemies, Antony and Octavian seemed unbreakable. They had avenged their father figure and secured their grip on power. Rome was theirs to divide. The seeds of discord but power, as the Romans knew well, corrupts even the purest intentions. The division of the empire that followed Philippi planted the first seeds of their eventual destruction. Antony took the wealthy east, with its ancient kingdoms and trade routes. Octavian received the west, including Italy itself, seemingly the lesser prize, but one that would prove strategically superior. Geography became destiny. In Alexandria, Antony found himself seduced not just by Egypt's legendary queen Cleopatra, but by the intoxicating culture of Hellenistic monarchy. The Roman general, who had once embodied republican virtue, began adopting the trappings of an Eastern potentate. He married Cleopatra in a ceremony that Romans viewed as legally meaningless, but symbolically devastating. Worse still, he began granting Roman territories to his Egyptian queen and their children, treating the empire as his personal inheritance to distribute. Meanwhile in Rome, Octavian was methodically consolidating power through a different strategy. He portrayed himself as the defender of traditional Roman values against Eastern decadence. Every lavish feast Antony threw in Alexandria, every royal ceremony he participated in became ammunition in Octavian's propaganda war. The sickly youth had transformed into a calculating political operator who understood that in Rome, perception often mattered more than reality. The point of no return, the final rupture, came not through a single dramatic confrontation, but through a series of escalating provocations that made reconciliation impossible. Antony's donations of Alexandria in 34 BCE, where he distributed Roman territories among Cleopatra's children in a grand public ceremony, crossed every line of Roman propriety. To Octavian and the Roman Senate, this wasn't just poor judgment, it was treason. But perhaps the most personal blow came through Antony's treatment of Octavia, Octavian's beloved sister, whom Antony had married as part of an earlier peace agreement. His public rejection of Octavia for Cleopatra wasn't just a political calculation, it was a profound personal insult that transformed their rivalry from political to visceral. The propaganda war that followed was vicious, even by Roman standards. Octavian portrayed Antony as a man emasculated by a foreign queen, a Roman general who had forgotten his duty to the Republic. Antony responded by questioning Octavian's legitimacy, claiming he was unworthy of Caesar's name and legacy. Their once brotherly bond had curdled into mutual hatred that would accept nothing less than total victory. The final act, the climax, came at Actium in 31 BCE, where the fate of the ancient world would be decided by a naval battle off the Greek coast. But here, where history takes an unexpected turn. The decisive moment was Octavian's tactical brilliance or Antonius' strategic error. It was Cleopatra's sudden flight from the battle, and Antony's fatal decision to follow her, abandoning his fleet and sealing his fate. The man who had once stood fearlessly against Caesar's assassins chose love over duty, passion over power. Within a year, both Antony and Cleopatra would be dead by their own hands, and Octavian soon to become Augustus. The first Roman emperor would rule an empire that stretched from Britain to the Euphrates. The legacy of broken brotherhood, the destruction of their friendship, didn't just end to lives. It ended the Roman Republic itself. From the ashes of their rivalry rose the Roman Empire, with Augustus as its first emperor. The system of shared power that had defined Rome for centuries died with their brotherhood, replaced by the autocracy that would endure for another 500 years. Their story remains one of history's most compelling because it reveals an uncomfortable truth about human nature, that the closest friendships can become the most bitter enemies, and that the line between love and hatred is often thinner than we care to admit. In seeking to avenge Caesar, Antony and Octavian created something he never could have: an empire that would reshape Western civilization forever. The brotherhood that began over Caesar's corpse ended with the birth of imperial Rome, proving that sometimes the greatest friendships must die for history to be born.